There is a lot going on in the boxing world today. The pandemic has not put a damper on 2021's biggest boxing events. Let us chat about Francis Ngannou's hint at a boxing switch, what it means, and other boxing news. Francis Ngannou, the UFC heavyweight champion, has criticized MMA wage and recommended that he move to boxing to get paid what he deserves. Ngannou is without a doubt the UFC's most strong fighter. The Predator went on a merciless run in the division after back-to-back losses to Stipe Miocic and Derrick in 2018, overpowering Curtis Blaydes, Cain Velasquez, Junior Dos Santos, and Jairzinho Rozenstruik. Ngannou earned a rematch with Miocic after 4 first-round knockouts that lasted less than 3 minutes inside the Octagon. The Cameroonian performed what he does best in the second round. After demonstrating his enhanced takedown defense in the first, for the first time in his career, he KO'd the champ and held UFC gold around his waist. Despite being one of the most powerful names in the UFC and holding one of the sport's most coveted belts, Ngannou has stated that he is still struggling financially as a result of the often criticized low fighter pay. The heavyweight champion said during a recent interview on Ariel Helwani's The MMA Hour that he still needs to borrow money to help pay for his training camp. The conversation turned to Tyson Fury and Deontay Wilder's recent epic trilogy clash. Both heavyweight champions came away with multi-million-dollar paydays. When questioned if the money they made relative to his own salary bothered him, Ngannou said MMA is tougher than boxing and hinted at a possible transition to the ring for financial reasons. After accusing the UFC of underpaying him and seeking to devalue his championship, the heavyweight champion's relationship with the organization may not be at its best right now. Ngannou's next payday appears to be in a huge unification bout against interim champion Ciryl Gane. On January 22nd, the two will headline UFC 270, which will be the first pay-per-view of 2022. If Ngannou can unify the championships against Bon Gaiman and clear the rest of the weight class, the much-anticipated crossover fight with the WBC heavyweight champion Tyson Fury might be on the cards. Tyson Fury has stated that a bare-knuckle battle with UFC heavyweight champion Francis Ngannou is possible and has promised to knock him out with one blow. For the past several months, the world boxing champion has been trading words with UFC star Ngannou, who is set to defend his WBC title against Deontay Wilder on July 24th. Fury stated in June that he had no interest in fighting in mixed martial arts, but that he will face Ngannou in a cage boxing event after settling his business with Wilder. What would Francis switch from MMA to boxing mean? Unfortunately, fans claim that although Ngannou has big hands, he is very heavy-footed and might not do too well in a ring. He has the power, but lacks the technique that is required to face today's boxers. There would be new training and branding involved too. The cost could be too great for Francis at this stage. In other news, let's go Dillian Whyte and Tyson Fury. After a shoulder injury forced him to withdraw from his scheduled fight with Otto Wallin, Dillian Whyte has urged Tyson Fury to keep his promise and give him a crack at the WBC championship. Whyte was meant to defend his WBC interim championship against Wallin at the O2 Arena in London on Saturday night, but he had to pull out due to shoulder injury sustained during training camp. The match was called off, not postponed, and Whyte says he has no plans to reschedule his battle with the Swedish heavyweight. Instead, the Brixton native will try to take advantage of his elevated standing with the WBC, which is expected to announce Whyte as the mandatory challenger to Fury's crown. It will be up to the two parties to reach an agreement to fight or risk a purse bid to determine who will host the bout. Then Fury would have to face Whyte or forfeit his WBC belt, which he had successfully defended against Deontay Wilder just months before. What's next for Joshua? Anthony Joshua, the unified heavyweight champion, has spoken out about his recent trip to the United States, where he was seen with numerous high-profile coaches. The trip follows a 12-round decision loss to Alexander Usyk last month, who walked away with the WBA, IBO, WBO, and IBF world belts. A rematch is being planned during the month of March. Joshua's travel sparked rumors that he was breaking up with the longtime trainer, Robert McCracken. Joshua claims that he and McCracken parted up, explaining that he was merely trying out other gyms to learn new things, and that he is open to the notion of hiring more trainers. Latest news on the divisional rankings. The greatest in the sport at each weight class are highlighted in ESPN's divisional boxing rankings. They'll alter often in response to current outcomes and performances. Rankings are determined by a fighter's achievements in the weight class in which he competes. A boxer who indicated his intention to move up or down a weight category will not be rated in that weight class until he fights in it and warrants being ranked. Fighters who presently hold championships in 2 separate weight categories will be rated in both. Fighters who haven't fought in 15 months and haven't planned a fight will be pulled from the rankings. Any boxer who tests positive for a performance-enhancing drug will be disqualified. After the next match, that boxer will be able to re-enter the rankings. Shakur Stevenson cemented his #1 status in the junior lightweight class with a 10th round TKO victory against Jamal Herring on Saturday, while Herring fell from #2 to #4 as a result of his loss. Oscar Valdez tested positive for the prohibited stimulant phentermine, but was permitted to defend his championship against Robson Conceição on Friday, September 10th. Valdez won by unanimous decision and retained his WBC junior lightweight championship, although his ranking as ESPN's #1 fighter at 130 pounds will not be maintained. Shakur Stevenson, who was formerly #2, now has the title. Conceição, who did well in defeat, is ranked #10 in the world. Gervonta Davis, who resigned his 130-pound title to move up in weight, was replaced by O'Shaquie Foster, who is currently ranked #9. Valdez will have a chance to return to the top of the ranking after his next bout. News about the 3 of the biggest fights to come in 2021. #1, Canelo Alvarez vs. versus Caleb Plant, November 6th. Last month, during a tense press conference in Los Angeles, it became clear how much Alvarez and Plant dislike one another. Plant had a gash beneath his right eye when Alvarez delivered a blow at him. From there, the insults came thick and fast. Plant slammed Eddie Rosano, Alvarez's trainer, and proceeded to brand Canelo a cheater. "I've never had this much bad blood for an opponent before," the Mexican star remarked during a recent open workout at his gym in San Diego. Rather than pre-fight histrionics intended to hype the event, the emotion appears to be reciprocal. Plant is a significant underdog, but there's no denying that he's a skilled boxer with fast hands, a powerful jab, and outstanding defensive abilities. It's another issue to combine such traits in order to pull off the upset. Plant will bring one of the main belts to the ring, while Alvarez will bring 3. The winner will become the first 4-belt champion in 160-pound history. Number 2, Terrence Crawford versus Sean Porter, November 20th. After years of looking for a fight with one of PBS's 147-pounders, Crawford will finally meet a fellow top-tier welterweight. Porter's relentless pressing style, strength on the inside, and experience in major fights suggest he'll be Crawford's hardest test yet. Crawford's welterweight belt is on the line, as is his ranking as ESPN's number 2 pound-for-pound boxer. Crawford's place in the mythological ranking is due to the fabled eye test, not who he has fought. If Bud has any difficulties, others would argue that he was always overrated. Crawford's value will skyrocket if he can easily dispatch Porter or perhaps win by a large margin. Porter's 3 losses to Kell Brook, Keith Thurman, and Errol Spence Jr. were all close calls on the scoreboards, and he has never been knocked out in his professional career. Crawford has the opportunity to make a statement if he wins. Number 3, Devin Haney versus Joseph Jojo Diaz Jr., December 3rd, December 4th. Haney claims he is the world's most avoided boxer, and he had a point for a while, despite owning a belt, whether you think he's a true champ or not. He couldn't get any of the best 135-pounders in the ring. When Ryan Garcia, who was supposed to fight Diaz on November 27th, hurt his hand, this bout became too compelling to pass up. For months, Haney and Diaz have traded barbs on social media, and now it's coming to a head. 2 guys looking to take their game to the next level. Haney is ESPN's number 3 lightweight, as well as number 3 on ESPN's ranking of the best 25 fighters under the age of 25. He demonstrated he is an outstanding fighter with a great jab and defensive abilities in his May victory over Jorge Linares, but he also showed fragility. Is Haney really that good? We'll find out against Diaz, a high-class pressure fighter with solid basics who has fought at the highest level. At 126 pounds, he was defeated by Gary Russell Jr., a super talented fighter. Diaz now has the opportunity to prove that he is better than ever in his 3rd weight class. Thanks for watching!